Hey everyone, welcome back to our latest episode of What's Good. Greg Mescall here with you. My guest today, Kenneth Farrow, running back, experience in the NFL, AAF, XFL. Kenneth, thanks for stopping by and spending some time with us.
No problem, man. Appreciate you. Thanks for
Hey,
having me on.
so I thought about you immediately during this time where everything is shut down and no one knows what their schedule is because you're always talking about grind with a purpose. And I feel like we're all trying to figure out what is our purpose right now and how do we appropriately grind. So
Yeah.
I know that's also your foundation, but tell me first, how are you staying purposeful right now?
Yeah, man. That's definitely kind of the motto that we've kind of taken on. It's kind of something we live by, and it's been cool, man. You just kind of find opportunities that come up in this time. My little brother actually just moved from Dallas Fort Worth to Houston, so we're doing some training with some kids out here, just trying to get them right. They don't have summer workout programs and all of these things going on, so we're trying to find the best way possible to kind of keep these kids going during this time, to be able to continue their athletics and stuff like that. So that's kind of what my days have mostly been filled with, training my little brother and reaching out to these kids and making sure that they're all okay, from our foundation and things like that.
So many people during this pandemic refer to the time away from the sport they love. It almost feels like an injury. It was an injury to you that kind of gave you the time to jump into this grind with a purpose years back and really focusing on that middle school age group, right? Sixth, seventh, eighth grade. First part of it, how does this compare to being injured? Is it a similar feeling when you can't do the thing you want to do?
No, I don't think so. This is a little bit different, man. I don't think anybody's kind of quite gone through this. Usually you got NBA going on right now, and there's nothing there, and so everybody's kind of on lockdown and trying to figure out, and even going forward, guys are, are we going to have a season going forward? You know what I mean? Things like that. So I think this is a little bit different, man. Everybody's just kind of on the waiting table to see what's going to be the next move and trying to just stay prepared for what everybody thinks is going to be coming next. So definitely a little bit different.
And just think back to when you started grind with a purpose and you're having that time when you're unable to compete. What was it that led you to kind of want to start that and why did you target that specific age group of kids to try and help and have an impact on?
Yeah, so going back to that time when I was going through my ankle surgery, you definitely have a sense of kind of some mental roadblocks that come along with any type of injury, especially when it's something that's requiring 6 or more months out. Not being able to move or anything like that, how you usually do. One of the things that we really honed in and focused on was how can we kind of make the most of that time that I had. Usually you don't have a period where you're in a NFL season and you just get to completely kind of walk away from be alone for a second. But so we really sat down and really started to think some of the things that I went through growing up, some of the things that my partner Trey Greenberry went through growing up, and Deontay, their brothers. We kind of really thought back and what was those times where we were growing up where it was like, hey, there's this fork in the road. You can kind of go right or left, and what people influenced our lives to be able to make us kind of walk in those right steps to get to where we were all eventually wind up meeting at in college and things like that. And so it was coaches, it was my dad, it was those people that kind of were influential in that circle to kind of keep you focused. And so I think that's why we picked that 6th to 8th grade group. It's right before you get to high school. It's right before the influences come. You got your own car. You can do things you want. So really just trying to tap into them and hammer down some of the habits and some of the characteristics that kind of lead them away from some of those negative roadblocks that they might find themselves going on down the road, just without that type of guidance. So that was our biggest focus, and it's been cool, man. We got to sit down and kind of reflect. We're pulling up some of our original groups right now and kind of getting back with them and, reaching out to them and things like that. So we've had like about 75 kids, you know what I mean? So looking back at it, it's been awesome, man, to be able to kind of play a little part in each one of those kids' lives.
What's that feeling like when you can look back at one of those earlier groups or even a current kid you're working with now and and you can see a small little decision that they made for the better. How does that make you feel?
It's huge. I think there's so many tangible things, materialistic things that we kind of get caught up in the world we live in today, and to be able to just see those things that don't you don't buy and you don't have to go out and look for, and you just kind of see it in a kid. You know what I mean? Whether it be decisions he's making or just the way he carries himself or whatever the case may be. I don't think there's anything much more you can do here on the with the time that you have, other than being able to leave an imprint on somebody to, hopefully better that whatever path they may go down. It was cool. Our March 7th game when we played at University of Houston, that's when we had some of our original kids there. Sixth graders that were now eighth graders now going into 10th, 11th grade, things like that. So being able to have them at the game, that was pretty cool, pretty special.
Talking with Kenneth Farrow, running back time in the NFL, a variety of leagues. You look back to your last couple of years here, and it has to be a little frustrating. It has to have tested your patience a bit. You get into the AAF, you're on the Commanders, that league folds. You're in training camp with the Dolphins, did not make the final roster. You're in the XFL, that league with everything coming to a halt. This is a time where everyone's resiliency is being challenged. How do you stay positive and get ready to get back to it and keep working on your dream?
Yeah, that's one of the biggest things that I think you have to learn. And whether it's a football journey, whether it's journalism, whatever you're doing in life is patience. What I mean, you're going to be in situations and opportunities are going to come up, and you kind of, it's up to you to make the most of them. And a lot of times, there's outside circumstances, outside things that you can't control. One of the things that I think has helped me be able to kind of keep my mind clear and keep pressing forward was just that, being able to control what I can control, and just know that when the right opportunity comes and the right situation comes, that it'll lay out, and you'll be ready for that through preparation and the things that you've done up to that point. But yeah, it's been the up and down, man. It's been a roller coaster. The folding leagues, the bankrupt, all kinds of crazy stuff. Some stuff you couldn't even think of to make up. So, but yeah, man, just staying positive, keeping that end goal in mind, and just kind of staying present day to day. That's kind of been, what's got me through it.
You've been in a couple of NFL training camps and done the preseason thing, whether it's Chargers or, as we mentioned most recently, Dolphins. I think it's one of those things where a lot of times you can do all the things you're supposed to do, and like you said, there might just be outside forces. They just don't need another running back, or there's someone else under contract. How do you go into those moments and try and make yourself as valuable as possible? What's that mentality like? You have a short window of time where you're trying to prove your worth, and you're trying to convince someone that you belong. What's that process been like for you?
It's definitely took, like I said, patience. I think that's one of the biggest things. I had to be patient to kind of realize that situation, I'd get into situations and come out of the situation feeling like, okay, that was the best I've played so far in my career. And, you're sitting at home. So I think one of the biggest things was just being able to stay level headed through those things, and really being able to kind of step outside of the situation and see my growth and see where I'm at as a player, where I'm at, in that particular situation. I think one of the cool things for me is I went to the Alliance, played really well. I was coming off an ankle surgery, and some of these things that, you have such a setback, like an ankle surgery, I had a shoulder blade surgery, and to kind of know where I started when that thing happened, to see the progress of me being able to get back to do what I do at a high level. That's always good. And then, like I said, being able to step outside of the situation and see, okay, here's where I was last year, and here's where I am now. And and that's the cool thing about football, man. The film doesn't lie. You can throw it on there. You can see it. You can see where you progress, things that you've gotten better at. And so I think that's the thing for me, man. Just always, every time I step out there, am I better than the last time I was out there? And I think that's kind of what's kept me going, just elevating your game.
I imagine that's probably part of the message you share with some of the younger kids you work with too. But how important in general is it to kind of have those measuring sticks and to be able to chart your progress and to see that maybe even though you aren't achieving ultimately your end goal today, you are making progress towards where you want to be.
Yeah, that's that you said it right on cue. What we tell them is, hey, you got a goal that's out there. You have a vision of something you want to attain, and it's all about the steps forward. Because in life, that's anything. It's going to be the journey that gets you there that you're going to remember the most. You kind of get there, and boom, it's happening. We always tell them, make sure that that step is a step forward, not a step backwards. So that's it, man. You go out every time you get an opportunity like that. You put your best foot forward. You make sure you're prepared to be able to put your best foot forward, and the rest kind of handles itself, and you just roll with it.
How much do the positive moments kind of increase your hunger? So you have this great run with the Commanders, you're playing well in the XFL. You have these moments where you've worn the NFL jersey, where you've been in the mix. I feel like the closer you get to something, the more of a taste you get, the more you want it. How does it increase your hunger?
Definitely. It's always a situation where it's like I've been there. You know what I mean? I've been there. I've made it happen before, and I've had some major setbacks to overcome and get back to the point where playing ability to where I was before it happened, and those have been big things too. You know what I mean? My rookie year, it was I came in and fractured my shoulder blade like the first preseason game. I had a crazy car wreck. You know what I mean? All kinds of stuff going on that my rookie season, and was still kind of being able to be out there. So just kind of looking back at that's something that kind of fueled me to keep going after my rookie year, especially. It's like, hey, I was out there like at maybe 40%. You know what I mean? So looking back at those things and being able to just know that I put in so much work to overcome some of those setbacks and kind of get to where I'm at, healthy, playing fast again, and things like that. That's always something that has kept me going. And I've said it multiple times. Until the wheels fall off, you might as well keep going. You know what I mean? It's such a short window that us athletes have to play this career and have this career. So, yeah, man, it's been a roller coaster, but I think that's what most everything in life is going to be, and I think that's why sports is such a great teacher of all the lessons in life, because sports is a much more tangible thing. It's like you get hurt, boom, you're set back, and you have to do these things to get back on track. So, yeah, man, it's fun, man. It's all been fun. It's all been every setback has been a huge lesson for me. So, yeah, man, sports is one of the greatest teachers, I think, for the youth.
Nobody continues to keep chasing after their dream like you do if you don't have some big goals in mind. What does it look like ideally for you 2 years down the road, 5 years down the road? Have you imagined that? What getting to where you ultimately want to be looks like?
Yeah, man, I think obviously football it's been crazy the last 2 years. You know what I mean? You get into some leagues and they fold, and then now with everybody's not sure if NFL is even gonna have fans there and kind of what's going on. I think right now it's been good because some of the stuff that we do with the kids and training them and things like that, and outside of the foundation work, it's kind of given me a chance to kind of get caught up that and kind of solidify some of those things. So, which is also in the same breath keeping me in shape and keeping me doing what I need to be doing. So, right now, man, I'm just kind of taking it day by day. It's been fun. I get to work on my craft every day, and I also get to teach these younger kids that want to be in the shoes that I've been, walk the path that I've been able to do. I get to be with them every day and kind of give them all the things that I've learned. So I think, right now, everything's so up in the air. I think that's all anybody's really doing is how can I, become better at what I do. So when things get back to regular, maybe you have some new talents or some new facets to add to whatever it is that you do. So that's kind of what I've been on, man. Just, like I said, taking it day by day, working on my craft still. And, I think end goal is I got about 3 or 4 more years left, and wind up on another roster and right out into the sunset after that. So it's been a long journey.
Well, the grind continues. It's impressive stuff. What you do isn't easy, and all the things you've had to overcome. That's something to be proud of. Even if it doesn't end up exactly the way you want it to go. You're also, as you've talked about, setting an example. So you're becoming a role model for younger people. I'm curious, is there someone that was your role model as you were coming up, or even now, someone that you look at, sports or otherwise, that you really like the way they carry themselves and you pattern yourself after what they do?
Oh man, there's so many people. I was blessed to have, just a lot of support growing up. My dad was my Pee Wee coach from age 5 to about 12 years old. And then even my other coaches surrounding, him, Coach Justin, Coach Flood. I mean, I could go Coach Stanford, my high school coach. It was always those people in the football world that definitely just kept me focused, man. You see a lot of kids kind of stray away because they don't have somebody to hammer in that belief that that kid can make it happen at whatever he wants to do. So, I mean, throughout my life, whether my dad was coaching me or with somebody else, they kind of always saw what I had, potential that I had, and they were always dropping gems on me. You know what I mean? To kind of keep me focused and walking that right path to get to where I wanted to go. So, yeah, man, too many to name really. Especially, looking back as you get older and kind of in retrospect, looking at, some of the things that people did for you, and it becomes, a larger token of appreciation once you're kind of older and you kind of look at it in hindsight. So many people, man.
Outside of football, outside of the foundation, anything else you've gotten into during this quarantine time? Something new, a new skill, a new hobby, something else for fun?
Man, we started out. Me and my wife started out with doing painting, so we did a little acrylic painting. I did one, and then she's kind of taken off from there, and I've kind of, floated into the training world, getting the kids right and things like that. But that was kind of cool little first time I painted a little picture, first time painting, so that was pretty fun. Um, Other than that, man, yeah, we just been coming up with ways to get these kids, in the best situation they can be for not having any type of summer workouts and stuff like that. So it's been fun.
That's excellent. Well, we end every conversation with three questions. Kenneth Farrow will ask you these three. It is, what's something you've done for yourself lately? What's something you've done for someone else lately? And what's something that literally made you laugh out loud, like you were hysterical laughing recently? So the first one is, what's something you've done for yourself lately? And it can be kind of a selfish thing. You hear about self-care, all that stuff, but something you did that was just good for you.
Um, I think just with everything going on, it's kind of forced everybody to kind of have a little bit more downtime. So kind of slowing down a little bit, especially, we go from mid-season playing to straight, okay, no more season and straight into workouts and stuff like that. I think that time off, that transition was kind of good for me. I kind of took some time, just stayed at home, spent a lot of time with my wife, so yeah, like you said, just kind of self-care, man. Just took a little bit of time off through all that stuff.
And then what's something that you've done for someone else recently?
Let's see. See, man, we've been doing a lot. I think I would say the training, man. We've gotten a lot of kids that weren't sure if they were gonna have summer programs and stuff like that. We've been working out a lot of kids and things like that, and I think that's been good for them to be able to get outside of the house and do something. So that's definitely number one, man. I get to see these kids every week and train with them, and they're all excited. Last time they saw me, I was playing on TV, so to be able to get out there and train with them, that's been really fun. I think they've enjoyed that.
And lastly, what's something that just made you break up laughing in the last couple of weeks, or anything recent you can remember?
Let's see. Dennis Rodman last night in the last dance. Dennis Rodman skipping out on practice to go to WrestleMania. That was I had a good laugh at that.
What happens in an NFL situation if anybody leaves an important practice just to go do something else for fun?
And show up on WrestleMania. I don't know. It was funny because I was talking about yesterday. I was like, man, look, we're talking about a whole different world in the 1990s than it was today. I mean, I had the social media and the Twitter and the Instagram. I was like, he probably snuck away and it wasn't a big deal till he was on TV. I was like, now, as soon as you hop on a flight, it's over with. So it's definitely, they lived in a kind of different dynamic, sports world wise, but that was pretty funny.
Yeah, you hear about people having, superstars on certain teams have special rules. I don't know anyone that had it set up like Dennis Rodman, where he could do that. He could go to Vegas for a couple of days to hang out, and everyone just
Yeah.
kind of dealt with it.
Rebound and party. That's what it made it sound like. The Last Dance, man. That was a good documentary.
Oh, that's fantastic. Kenneth, really appreciate the time. Appreciate everything you're doing, and looking forward to seeing you back out on the field real soon.
No doubt. I appreciate it.